Hello everyone, Hannah here from Daisy Farm Crafts. This is a video tutorial for my crochet velvet wavy edge baby blanket. And this is made with Bernat baby velvet yarn. I made this little stroller size baby blanket. The finished size is about 27 inches by 28 inches. So I just used two of the larger baby velvet skeins, and I'm using a size H 5mm crochet hook. And if you'd like the full written instructions that go along with this video, you can find a link to that in the description, and that will take you to our website where you can find the free printable pattern, and our website is daisyfarmcrafts.com. All right, so to get started with this blanket, you can make a base chain that is any number. There's no specific pattern repeat for this pattern. So I'm just gonna make a small practice swatch. So I'm gonna make a base chain of 12. And I'm gonna start in the second chain from the hook, and I'm just gonna work one row of half double slip stitch. So that means I'm gonna yarn over, insert my hook into that second chain, yarn over and pull back through, and then pull directly through the two loops on my hook. And this is also sometimes called yarn over slip stitch, and we like to call it half double slip stitch. So again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull that loop back through, and then pull that loop directly through the two loops on your hook. So you kind of just have to rotate your wrist there at the end. Again, yarn over, insert your hook, pull back through, and then directly through those two loops. And we're just going to do one half double slip stitch in each chain. And here's my last chain. Work my last half double slip stitch. And I'm just going to chain one and turn. And this whole blanket is just one stitch. It's all half double slip stitch. But from now on, I'm always going to be working into these front bottom loops down here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start right into this first stitch right here, and I'm going to yarn over, but I'm going to insert my hook up through just this front bottom loop, and then work my half double slip stitch. So yarn over and then pull directly through those two loops. And then same thing in the next one. I'm looking at these loops right here on the bottom, these front bottom. Insert my hook, yarn over, and then pull through the two loops. And I'm just going to do front bottom loop, half double slip stitch all the way across. And on the last stitch, this is my front bottom loop right here. So I'll work my last half double slip stitch, chain one and turn. And then you can see that working in the front bottom loop makes this really nice braid. And so that's all I'm going to be doing for this whole blanket is yarn over and then work just in that front bottom loop with our half double slip stitch. So it's just a very nice relaxing stitch. It's a great stitch for this velvet yarn because it is very soft but kind of slippery, and so if you don't use a tight stitch, sometimes this yarn can kind of come loose or worm out, but I found that with really tight stitches like this, it works really great, and then still obviously stays very soft and flexible and just makes these really pretty braids. And you can see after you start working a couple of rows, you can really start seeing those braids start to form. This kind of nice textured lines. But I did want to show you, it does get a little bit tricky on the ends sometimes the farther you go along. So you just want to make sure that you're still going into that front bottom loop, which by the time you get to the end is just this front loop right here. And you can kind of see that there's still the two top lip loops are kind of flipped onto this back side, but this is still our front bottom loop right here. Just this. Oops, and it can be a little tricky to stick your hook in there. There we go. Just want to do that front loop, do your last half double slip stitch, chain one, and then you're just working directly back into the front loop of that stitch we just made. So yarn over and start again right in that front bottom loop. So you'll just keep doing this one stitch for the remainder of the blanket, and you'll see how it forms these beautiful lines. And once you are finished with the main part of your blanket, I'll show you how we add this really cute scalloped border. So once you've worked your last row, you can either tie off right here and weave in your ends and then just pull up a loop and start working your border, or you can just chain one and start working down the side. So I'm going to start with one round of single crochet, and I found that my border worked out the most even when I did a single crochet in every other space down the sides, and then on the ends I did kind of a pattern of 2 single crochet skip, and that's just after kind of some trial and error what I found that made it the most even. But if you're finding that you need more or less single crochets than that, feel free to improvise. So I'm just going to start working down the side here, and basically there's 2 spaces in between each set of these braids. So I'm just going to work into one of those spaces and then skip the next one. So I'm going to start in this space right here that's just to the right of this braid. I'm going to skip this first space, and I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops for my single crochet. So now I'm going to skip this next little space, and I'm going to work in this space right here that's just to the right of this braid. So going down the sides, I'm just going to insert my hook into the space that's just right to the right of those braids. So a single crochet in every other space down the side. And now I'm going to do 3 single crochet into this corner. Oops, 2, 3. And now going across this end is where I'm going to start that pattern of 2 single crochet skip. So I'm just going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. It can be a little bit tricky to see the spaces. Sometimes it helps to kind of look at it from above so you can tell that this is a stitch, and I'm going to skip that one and work into this space. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, and skip that space all the way across. And then I'm just going to work 3 single crochet in this corner, and then do the same thing back up the side, only working in every other space. So again, I'll just kind of go to the right of each of these braids. And then once we get back to the end, you'll do that same pattern of 2 single crochet, skip. And then I'll show you what we do when we get back to that starting corner. So I'm on the last end, so I just worked 2 single crochet, so now I'm going to skip, do 2 more single crochet, and then skip this last stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my starting corner. If it ends up that you have 2 single crochets or 2 stitches left when you get to the end of this side, you can just work 3 single crochets in a row and then skip 1 if you need to. And then you can just slip stitch into this starting stitch. Now I'm going to keep working in the same direction, and I'm just going to chain 1. And I'm going to start with a slip stitch into this first stitch. So I'm just going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through. I'm going to skip this next stitch, and I'm going to work 7 double crochets into this next stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now I'm going to do 6 more double crochets all into that same stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, skip the next stitch, which is this stitch right here. It looks, you know, sometimes it can be a little tricky because it looks like this has already been worked into, but all of these are anchored into this stitch down here. So skip this stitch, and now I'm going to work a slip stitch into this next stitch. So just insert my hook and pull right through. And then you can see we've got our first little scalloped shell. And we're just going to keep following this pattern of slip stitch, skip, 7 double crochet, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then skip, and then slip stitch again. And you're just going to do this all the way down the side. And when you do the corners, you don't need to do anything fancy. Most of the time you can just keep this pattern going, unless you feel like it lands kind of weird. If you need to, you know, skip an extra stitch and you want to land your slip stitch in the corner, just to like make it look a little more even, you can definitely do that. But you're just going to keep doing the same pattern all the way around. And then when you get back to this starting corner, you'll just slip stitch into that corner and tie off and weave in all your ends, and then you are finished. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. If you make any of our patterns from Daisy Farm Crafts, please take a picture and come share with us. You can use the hashtag Daisy Farm Crafts on Instagram or on Facebook. We would love to see anything that you're making. Happy crocheting!